The adored star of Tyler Perry's most well-known programs, Cassie Davis, has now spoken up, and the business is in complete shock at what she revealed about Tyler Perry. She remained silent for years. Her remarks, however, are suddenly revealing a reality that may alter our perception of one of the most well-known figures in Black Hollywood. She told you something you won't believe. This story has completely turned everything upside down, so stay with us. One face immediately comes to mind when we consider Tyler Perry's universe, spanning movies, stage plays, and TV empires. Cassie Davis is well known for her iconic portrayal of Aunt Bam, who has a pointy nose. She has more than 20 years of experience with Perry's productions. Through her personal health struggles, fans have stood by her side, laughing and crying with her. They haven't heard her side of the tale though, until now. There were rumors for years. What was actually happening between Tyler Perry and his closest co-stars behind the scenes? Why did certain actors abruptly leave a production only to reappearance years later with little explanation? And why did fans' favorite, skilled, and devoted Cassie Davis lose her prominence at crucial junctures in Perry's career? It appears that the hush has finally ended. Fans have never seen Cassie Davis open up like she did in a recent private podcast interview that has gone viral. Her statements were serious, honest, and totally out of the blue. She talked about her strong bond with Tyler Perry, the events that transpired during their pivotal years of collaboration, and the psychological costs of being mute while the world only saw one side of her, as well as her words. People are reconsidering everything they believe to be true about Tyler Perry, including his loyalty, business methods, and even his public persona based on his faith. The specifics of Cassie Davis's confession, the enigmatic fallout that prevented her from attending Perry shows, the potential impact of her remarks on Tyler Perry's legacy, and the reactions of the industry and fans now that the truth is out, are all covered in this video. Thus, stay tuned, because what follows is not only poignant, but also contentious, unvarnished, and utterly genuine. The plot changes at this point. There was a small, tenacious group of actors who supported Tyler Perry's idea when no one else did. Long before Meta became a cultural sensation and Perry became a rich businessman, Cassie Davis, an actress with a tremendous heart, impeccable comedic timing, and an unmistakable stage presence, was one of them. During Tyler Perry's media stage play days in the early 2000s, Cassie collaborated with him for the first time. Although she wasn't yet well known, Tyler saw something in her that others didn't. She quickly became a favorite among audiences and Perry's close-knit artistic community for her ability to strike a mix between humor and genuine truth. They worked together to create magic. Fans fell in love with Cassie Davis's sarcastic delivery, soulful eyes, and the unique authenticity she offered to every part, which made her a mainstay of the Tyler Perry world. From Madadia's Family Reunion to Media Goes to Jail, House of Pain, Meet the Browns, and more, she performed with poise and strength, whether she was portraying Aunt Bam or Ella Payne. However, most people are unaware that Cassie and Tyler were more than just co-workers behind the scenes. They had a strong spiritual bond. During his early struggles with rejection and being misinterpreted by Hollywood, Tyler has frequently stated in interviews that he surrounded himself with religious people who could pray for him in difficult times. One of the individuals was Cassie. According to insiders, she was Tyler's spiritual rock, offering advice that he truly relied on, laying hands on him prior to performances, and quoting scripture when things became tough. She was family, not just a co-star. For a while, there were even suspicions that the two might be romantically involved, but they both denied this time and time again. Nevertheless, they were one of the most admired pairs in Black entertainment because of their on-screen chemistry and their loyalty off-screen. However, even the strongest ties can be put to the test, and in Part 2, we explore Cassie Davis's unexplained disappearance from Perry's productions, the mounting fallout rumors, and why nobody, not even her biggest admirers, anticipated it. Cassie Davis was everywhere one day. She disappeared after House of Pain reruns, Tyler Perry performances, bet specials, and red carpet events. There was silence, no news release, no public declaration, and that quiet was deafening to fans who had become accustomed to seeing her in almost every Tyler Perry film. Cassie Davis was conspicuously absent from Tyler's major efforts for almost 4 years. The farewell play tour by media. No, Cassie. House of Pain gets a new revamp. She did not attend important advertising events. Not even a cameo in Sisters or The Oval by Tyler Perry. Speculation started among fans. Health problems were cited by some. Cassie had previously acknowledged that she was suffering from Bell's palsy, a disorder that resulted in noticeable alterations to her facial muscles. Behind the scenes, some talked about a potential fallout, maybe a personal betrayal or, worse, creative differences. However, what raised suspicions even further? Tyler Perry never once mentioned her absence in public. Conspiracy theories started to circulate at that point. Was Cassie evicted? Did she leave after a disagreement about money? Or was it something more profound, like a conflict between celebrity and faith? Some even asserted that Cassie had become uneasy about the way Tyler's shows were changing, with increasingly dangerous plots, high drama, and what she apparently perceived as a shift from the initial goal. In one of her resurrected interviews from 2018, Cassie alluded to being in a spiritual season of separation. One blogger noted, Cassie was always about God first. Maybe she felt the work no longer reflected the heart of who she was. Most people at the time assumed she was referring to taking time off for family or health reasons, but many now speculate that she might have been alluding to a widening gap between her and Tyler Perry. This is the part that nobody anticipated. There were allegations of a private dispute between Tyler and Cassie over creative control, script modifications, and what one insider called crossed boundaries, according to multiple people close to Tyler Perry Studios. However, nobody dared to address it directly. Not Cassie, Tyler, or any of the cast members as of yet. Because Cassie finally acknowledged in her most recent podcast confession that there were other reasons for her absence besides health issues. She disclosed that she and Tyler went through what she referred to as a season of distance, which was brought on by hurt, miscommunications, and having to put peace before performance. As she spoke, her voice broke. We got lost, even though I adore that man dearly. Then she hesitated, and we both did. I remained silent for too long. I almost broke because I wanted to keep him safe. Listeners were surprised by the moment. Fans were learning for the first time directly from Cassie that something unpleasant, intimate, and real had occurred behind closed doors. Something that altered everything. Something more profound than show business. The most heartbreaking aspect, though, was when she admitted that she sobbed during Whole House of Pain episodes because she feared the viewers would never learn the truth. Despite not being loud, messy, or public, Cassi Davis and Tyler Perry's relationship was intense, unfiltered, and unspoken until recently. Nobody anticipated the intensity of Cassi Davis's remarks when she sat down for that now viral podcast interview. It wasn't a tour of the press. The book wasn't a tell-all. After years of silence, Cassie was finally able to tell her truth without any scripting or filter. After inhaling deeply, she started with this. People assumed that Perry, Tyler, and I were merely co-workers. In actuality, though, I thought of him as a brother. Furthermore, relatives can occasionally cause you more pain than strangers. The tone was established then and there. There would be no chatter here. This was about letting go of something Cassie had held onto for too long, about betrayal, and about suffering. She went on, I had to decide whether to speak up or keep quiet for the sake of his legacy, and I remained silent for years. There were times when I felt spiritually conflicted. Cassie said that production meetings surrounding one of Tyler's more dramatic shows, rumored to be The Oval or Ruthless, were the turning point. I told him, this ain't what we started with, as Cassie, who has always been vocal about her Christian beliefs, voiced reservations about the violence, the sexual nature, and the departure from spiritual storytelling that used to characterize Perry's earlier works. The heart is where is the recovery taking place? Cassie claims that her worries weren't taken seriously. This is business now, Cassie, he informed me. This is what sells. I recall thinking, we used to do this to lift people up, not to shock them. Cassie stated that she was never angry with Tyler, only heartbroken, because she witnessed someone she loved and believed in gradually compromising the very values that made their creative work so powerful in the first place. That moment launched what she described as a spiritual rift. She claimed that she prayed for him, fasted for him, and even thought about leaving quietly, which is what she ultimately did. People assumed that my disappearance was due to my health, and while I was indeed recovering, I was also grieving for a friendship, a brotherhood, and a partnership that I believed to be unbreakable. Then she dropped the sentence that made headlines. Fans were shocked by that one line, and longtime viewers of House of Pain and media films flocked to Twitter and YouTube with emotional reactions. Some praise Cassie, saying she was courageous to speak up. I watched Tyler Perry become everything we said we'd never be, and I loved him through it, even when it hurt. Others felt deceived, uncertain about whom to trust. But one thing was certain, this was about soul, not just show business. Cassie didn't criticize Tyler or accuse him of any wrongdoing, but what she did was even more scathing. She revealed the heartbreaking truth of someone who watched her friend gradually lose himself in the spotlight, the money, and the Hollywood apparatus. I don't hate him. I pray for him every day, but I had to speak because holding it in was making me spiritually sick. She concluded her confession with grace, reminding us that even in the glitter and glamour of Black Hollywood, genuine friendships end, genuine pain furs, and genuine people suffer in silence for the benefit of someone else's empire. It didn't take long for the headlines to blow up after Cassie Davis's powerful confession started making the rounds. Was it all business? Cassie Davis speaks out. Faith over fame. Davis finally reveals the truth about her disappearance. And as anticipated, the reaction was divided. We love Tyler, but we needed to hear this side too. She's not bitter, she's brave. Cassie, thank you for telling your truth. It's about time someone said it. On one side, social media was ablaze with messages of encouragement from longtime fans, churchgoers, and even a few vocal gospel celebrities. Others praised her for handling such a sensitive topic with grace. She never accused, insulted, or slandered. She just spoke truth wrapped in love, and that honesty struck a chord with many. Some referred to her as a modern-day Esther for speaking out against a system that rarely permits women, especially Black women of faith, to speak out against powerful men in entertainment. On the other hand, the criticism was loud, harsh, and merciless. Tyler Perry's supporters accused her of betraying him, while others said she was being ungrateful for all the chances he gave her. One comment that has gone viral said, "Tyler made you who you are," and unexpectedly, a number of church leaders and gospel influencers remained eerily silent so as not to anger Tyler Perry, who continues to be a major financial backer of numerous church-related projects, charitable organizations, and faith-based productions. Some of y'all only love truth when it's convenient. Cassie subsequently wrote in a follow-up Instagram message, after being ghosted by some of the same people she had prayed, sang, and worshiped with for years. Cassie has always been firmly anchored in the church. The message was obvious even though she didn't mention names. While some behind the scenes privately acknowledged Cassie wasn't wrong and that the Tyler Perry brand had changed significantly, many remained silent. Meanwhile, the same church that had once praised her for standing with Christ had now distanced itself because she dared to speak truth to influence. Following a whisper campaign, ambiguous interviews, dubious online comments, and even YouTubers who implied that Cassie had lost her sense of reality, Cassie remained composed, unflinching, and spiritually rooted. After all, Tyler Perry remains one of the most influential Black voices in Hollywood, and few were willing to risk their careers. Since this was never about drama for her, but rather about truth, spiritual responsibility, and choosing healing over hiding, she didn't clap back, she didn't make more media rounds, and she just posted a single scripture, Matthew 5:10. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. As the dust settles, fans are left wondering if Cassie Davis, one of the most devoted, honest, and faithful voices in gospel entertainment, had to endure this much suffering in order to speak her truth. Cassie Davis made the brave choice to speak from her heart in a time when silence is frequently rewarded, knowing full well what it might cost her. After the world heard Cassie Davis's heartbreaking confession, it was clear that the Tyler Perry empire would never be the same. Tyler Perry built his brand on the principles of faith, forgiveness, family, and second chances, and Cassie Davis, more than just a cast member, was a part of that foundation. How many others are still hiding in silence? When someone like Cassie comes forward with honesty, vulnerability, and decades of loyalty behind her, the world begins to listen differently, not just because of what was said, but because of who said it. Her presence in media's Family Reunion, House of Pain, and innumerable plays did more than just entertain. She anchored the heart of those stories. Although Perry has not yet publicly addressed Cassie's interview, insiders at Tyler Perry Studios say there has been a noticeable change in energy, with staff meetings becoming more intense, public relations being more controlled, and tension among longtime collaborators increasing. What does her confession actually mean going forward? To begin with, the entire Tyler Perry ecosystem has been forced into reflection. One unnamed crew member wrote on a blog, "You can feel it. People are walking on eggshells because, as Cassie made plain, success does not justify silence and fame does not nullify the spiritual cost of losing one's voice." There are also rumors of internal reassessments regarding the types of tales being approved and the treatment of cast members behind the scenes. Though they haven't come forward publicly yet, at least 3 former Tyler Perry cast members have alluded to their own unspoken grievances since Cassie's confession, which may have had the most potent ripple effect of the entire moment. One actress wrote cryptically, "Sometimes healing begins when the first domino falls." Respect to Cassie. Online threads are analyzing how Perry's recent work has changed, with some applauding the daring storytelling and others echoing Cassie's observations that the anointing has been replaced by algorithms and network demands. Even the church community, which at first refrained from responding, has gradually started to participate. Fans are also viewing Perry's content differently. Cassie has stayed grounded, not pursuing celebrity or greater publicity, but returning to what she calls her original calling. A few pastors have used their pulpits to talk about Cassie's fortitude and highlight the need of ethics and leadership, especially in the entertainment industry. "I didn't speak out to destroy anyone," she recently told a small faith podcast, adding that she is serving in ministry, mentoring young women in entertainment, and putting peace before performance. "I spoke out to free myself and hopefully to help someone else know it's okay to speak truth, even if it shakes the room." For fans who grew up believing in the media message, who looked to Perry's work for comfort based on faith, and who saw Cassie and Tyler as the epitome of creative unity, the reckoning is real. What does all of this mean for Tyler Perry, then, depends on how or if he reacts, as silence in the face of a confession like Cassie's becomes its own kind of statement. Even though it hurt, Cassie gave the world honesty, which is the first step toward redemption and reconciliation. Now, we turn to you, the viewer. Do you think Cassie Davis was right to speak her truth? Should Tyler Perry publicly address this? Or does silence speak louder? What does this moment say about how we treat loyalty, truth, and faith in the entertainment industry? Please leave a comment below. If there's one thing Cassie Davis taught us, it's that sometimes your voice is the breakthrough someone else needs. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video to keep the conversation going. We're watching every word.